Okay, perfect.
Bonjour. All right, so that's going, and then we'll hit the go live button. And I think, yeah, looks like live is running. Morning. So, morning everyone. So Christine, JP, Sukumar, Peter. Where is everybody? I know New Zealand, Sydney, Peter. Not sure where you are, mate. We've got anyone from America, UK, anything in here? Anyone else joining? Oh, we've got Martin. Just let Martin in. Good morning.
In Toowoomba, Queensland.
Oh, cool, man. And hey, Martin. All right, guys and gals. Sorry, Christine. All right. So this morning we had a bit of a big promise to talk about missed call text back on any Android phone. And Quan joining. Hey, Quan, how are you, buddy?
Hey guys, good to be here.
Good, mate. Nice to see you. Yeah, so we're going to talk about missed call text back on any Android phone. So, with myCRMSIM, so we have in our snapshot, and we worked this out a good while ago, how to do missed call text back, but it relied on a snapshot that we created and the phone being able to send a text message when someone made a phone call that seemed like it came from that number, and then that could trigger a workflow and we could do SMSs back off of that as missed call text back, which works really well. Definitely works really well here in Australia, but I do understand there's some phone plans in some countries where it doesn't work so well in. Now, I was having a chat with our very first paying customer, Thomas, who is in France a little while ago, and he was telling me that he was triggering a Slack channel conversation on missed call text back off of a phone. And I was like, mate, how are you doing that? Because if you're doing that, then surely there's got to be something we can do to trigger workflows and webhooks and missed call text back. So he showed me a little thing that he was using, and then we've worked out the whole process and an SOP so that we can do this off of any Android phone. So I want to set the scene for you guys as well, because this is not just like myCRMSIM phones. This is like any Android phone. So if you're setting up a myCRMSIM phone for a client, like as a separate number for them, but they might have their own Android phone anyway that they're using. Hey, Dean, how are you, mate? Dean in there. Their own Android phone they're using for their business, but you've still got a separate number, and maybe they're using it through Lead Connector, however that is. You could still set up missed call text back straight off of their phone. So think about these tradies, the service guys, people that are out all day. They're not answering their phone and they want to be able to get back to people off of their regular phone number anyway. This will work across any Android phone, and you can set this up remotely, and all they have to do is download a little app, sign into it, and they are off to the races, and you can trigger webhooks, do anything you want off of there. So this just takes missed call text back to another level. And Sean is always talking about missed call text back in the high level forum. It's like one of the biggest opportunities for people to sell. But one of the biggest challenges about selling that to people is you sell a missed call text back, but part of that is, yeah, but we actually need to change your phone number to something else so that when people ring that number, it'll do a missed call text back. And that's a big buffer or a big challenge for people, because if you've got to change their phone number, then you've got to change the places where it's listed, where it's advertised and get people to use a different number to call. But take that now and say, hey, we can do missed call text back on your phone, provided it's an Android phone. You're off to the races. And I'm sure someone's going to ask this question as well. Can you do this on an iPhone? So we are just working out now on an iPhone how you can do that as well. So there is an option to make this work on an iPhone, but it's a little bit different. And we're just trying to figure out the nuances on an iPhone at the moment. And we will put together the outline and an SOP for that for everybody on an iPhone as well. So it looks like it's possible, but slightly different. So is
What
everybody
about landline, Gary?
sorry, mate?
What about landline?
Landline we can do with Lead Connector already. Just a regular landline. Do you mean like their normal phone number?
Yes.
So there's a guy called Mario who did work something out about connecting a landline. Maybe I could grab him and I'll get him in to do another live about that, because I know that he did work out how to connect a client's regular landline. But I think that depended on their type of sort of SIP connection. I'm not too familiar with landlines and how all that kind of works, but I know he did work out a way to trigger. What did he do? I think he just triggered and recorded a call in high level from a landline. But we can do missed call text back from a landline with Lead Connector, which we can certainly go through, and we've already got all that in our snapshot, just with a normal Lead Connector, not landline.
So if I diverted their mobile number to their landline, will the missed call text back still work? With
To a
that?
regular landline, their normal business number. I don't know a way to do that.
Yep.
What we figured out is how to do it to a mobile number,
Yep.
but not to their existing landline number. But there may be a way to do that, and I'm going to share this and have a chat to Mario anyway, because I've kept this. You guys are the first people to see this. We haven't shared this with anyone else yet. Obviously, we're gonna share this, and we're gonna tell the community about this in high level once this is done anyway. But you guys are the first to see this, and we'll share the SOP, so you guys can get on board with this straight away. And then I'm going to talk to some of the other people I know, like Mario and stuff, and maybe we'll bring him in for a conversation about that. So let me just go back to here on this. Now, what I'm going to share with you guys here, we've got this kind of pre-set. Now, we were doing this last night, and Carlos, Carlos didn't say hello to you on here, mate. Myself and Carlos, we've been testing this and playing it a bit. We set this all up. We were testing it last night. What we've done here, we've set up a missed call text back, and we're going to have the AI bot. So myCRM bot is going to reply, and then it can have a conversation, basically. And while I'm on that, actually, did you guys all get the email to get your myCRM bot account set up? Carlos has been busy setting them up for people. Everybody on here got that email?
I don't know if I do, Gary. I'll check my inbox and send a message and check it.
Yeah, we'll just check your inbox. So we sent out an email about getting your accounts all set up yesterday. You just need to fill in the form. Hey Heidi, how are you? Just need to fill in the form, and then we'll get your account set up, and you'll get the account details and logins, all of that stuff then. Okie dokie. Now, let me, I've got one other thing. Let me type in that one. Cool. So everybody can see my screen? Give me a yay. Just let me know that you guys can see the screen, or put one in the chat or something.
Yes.
What have we got in here? Okay. Everyone, yep. Cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to introduce you to a little system called IFTT. If this, then that. Hey, Jason just joined us. So if this, then that. I love this type of programming. This is my jam from back in the day. Like if anyone knows my sort of story and how I sort of started on different things, I used to program buildings for a living, predominantly air conditioning, fire alarms, security systems, anything that you could put in a building you wanted to turn on, off, up or down, is what I used to do years ago. And then we put the very first buildings in Australia, like a whole university campus, on the internet. And then that's what got me into the web and building websites and SEO, and then kind of where I am today. And everything that we used to do used to be based on if this, then that type programming, because if the temperature in a building goes over a certain amount, then turn on the aircon. And if it goes under, then turn the aircon down. There's whole basic programs of stuff with that and all these little modules and stuff. So that was my jam that I used to do years ago. So I love IFTT. And I haven't used this program for years, and I'd pretty much forgotten about it, to be honest, because IFTT is like a very simple kind of Zapier, I would say. Like it's a simple Zapier. Has anyone used it or come across it before? Who's here?
Yes, it's really
Yes,
cool.
you have. Awesome. What have you used it for before, Christy?
I haven't used it extensively. I just looked at it. So when you showed us on your screen, I was like, that's right, that old gem. I need to get back on that. So it's
Exactly.
great to see what you're doing with it.
Yeah, it's an old gem. So I haven't used this for years. And like I say, Tomas was the one who kind of reminded me about this, and he was using this to trigger a Slack channel message. And I was like, and I'd forgotten all about this. And we went through the process of figuring out how we could make a missed call trigger a webhook. And then obviously once you've got the webhook triggered, you can set anything running basically. So let me just go into this. Sorry, I've got one other thing I want to open here on my other screen. So what we're going to go through here, guys, as well, just while I'm opening something on the other screen. That one here, I think it is. So we've preset this up, guys. What we're going to give to you now, there's so many ways that you can use this, right? But we're going to put this into our help section, our help docs in myCRMSIM in our support. So we have got, so don't worry about taking notes or any of the steps in here, because we're not going to go through it exactly. We've got it redone. We have put together, this is a 14-page, literally step by step, if this, then that, setting up a webhook guide that we will provide to everyone in our support section after this. So this is literally exactly every single step that you need to do, how to create the applet in the IFTT, how to create your webhook, everything that you need to do to set this up. And it is pretty simple to do. Like it's literally step, step, step. It's 14 pages because we put screenshots in for everything as well to make it really clear on what to do. So don't stress that we're not going to go through every single step here. We wanted to be able to talk through this, show a working example, but we will give you that guide in our SOPs in the support center afterwards. All right. So is that pretty cool for everyone?
Yep. Well, we need to do this for every sub account number.
Yes, you will. And what you will need to do as well, I'll jump ahead a little bit here. So what you will need to do as well is actually create effectively a separate IFTT really for each account, I think, in best practice. Let me explain why as I get through a little bit more, if that's okay. Because you could do it all under one account, but effectively you actually need to install the IFTT app onto your client's phone. So if you had all your applets in one account and they're all on one client's phone, like what you see here is what a client could see on their phone, and they would see every applet that's connected to every other client. So you would kind of really, in best practice, want to separate that and have a different account for each client. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you just don't want a client to be able to, like, they could go into the app on their phone, and you would obviously need to rename them. This could be like, you'd have multiple ones of these, like Tim the electrician, Jim the plumber, Tom the carpet cleaner, whatever they might be, and they'd be like, oh, what are all these different ones? Oh, I wonder what happens if I tick this and turn it off connected, and they turn off Jim the plumber's one. You don't want them to have any access to this. So you would, in best practice, want to set up a separate account for every client. So I guess with that, what you can do, because you can do all this remotely, all right, and think of the opportunity here, guys. So what I'm telling you is this does not have to be on a myCRMSIM phone that you're using for text messaging, all right? You could set this up on any client's phone, okay? If they have an Android phone, and you don't even have to be using myCRMSIM, right? You could be using whatever. You can trigger anything off of it. And you can just say, hey, what we can do is we can trigger an action, whatever it might be that helps them on a missed call text back. It could be sending just a quick text to the person, which you can do a standard in here. It could be sending a message to their VA to say, hey, this person just called. Can you ring them and say, hey, it's Joan here. I'm the VA for John. You just tried to ring him. He's busy at the moment, and he just asked me to give you a call. Like, there's so many opportunities for what you can do. Once you've got a webhook, like, you can do anything with this, guys. So it, like, the opportunity for missed call text back when you've got a webhook and you can do it on the client's existing phone number, I just don't think can be understated, right? Just let your imagination run wild with the things that you can do. So all we're going to show you here is, well, I say all, is a missed call text back on a myCRMSIM phone with myCRM bot then replying and following up to book in an appointment, a demo appointment. But you can do so many things with this. Okay. So what you got to do is set up your account, and you will need a pro account. I think it's like $2 a month or $2.50 a month or something like that. So to your point, sorry, was it Peter who was asking about setting up an account for each one?
Yes.
Yeah, so sorry, Peter. So to your point, you need a pro account for this, which you have to pay for in order to be able to make this particular application and set the webhook. Okay, so it's going to cost you $2 per account per client to do this if you're going to segregate it, which is going to be the best practice way of doing it. Because what you'll do is you set this up on here. Okay, you create your applet, and then all you need to do is get the client to download the IFTT app on their phone, and then just give them the login details. And once they log in on their phone, this applet is already on their phone, so you don't need to touch it. You just send them a document or send them a link, say, download this app, log in with these details. And this app, you can control it all from your central account. Okay, you don't have to touch their phone, you don't have to do anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So
Now, if we had multiple phones from the business, they would only need one IFTTT account.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So if you've got multiple phones, then you could set them all across, and then you're gonna, obviously tell them to say, look, don't touch any of these things here, because you could turn off another phone. Just say download the app. They don't need to do anything in the app. That's the beautiful thing about this as well. You can build everything on your desktop, and then it just syncs to the app on their phone as long as they're logged into the matching account.
Yep.
So pretty cool. So what you need to do is you'll go to applets. Okay, I'm just going to go to this one that we've already got built. Okay, well, actually, what I could do, I'll go to, let me just go to explore for a second. If I go to Android, again, guys, don't worry about all this because I'm not going to go through every single step here. Okay, but effectively all you need to do is go to Android. You've got a whole bunch of different options here. So you guys can play with this. I'm sure, like when we released eSIMs, that there will be a whole bunch of things that everybody will find and play with and go, oh, just I can set a calendar appointment, or I can do this or do that, whatever it might be. So you guys will find other things as well that you can do here. Just lost my zoom. There we are. Missed call. Where's the missed call text back? I'm going to look at the thing to find out which one it is that we are using. Oh, sorry, it's yeah. Android device. Should have had this. This is why we pre-built it, so I didn't have to go around and find all the things. This is the hardest part, just finding them all. Text message. Which one is it? Right. Once you've got this built as well, by the way, guys, you can duplicate it as well, and you can make these things public, so you can copy them to other places.
Sorry, is the first one to the left Android phone call?
No, that's this one.
No, in the top Android phone call.
Oh, sorry. It's in here somewhere. Let's note my missed calls. Missed calls to calendar.
Would it be webhook if you put it in the search?
No, that will come up with about 1 million different ones.
Or Android missed call or call?
What we'll do, anyway, we'll make this, I'll just go back to the one that we've got built. We'll make this one public, so we'll share this one afterwards. So we'll put this into our process docs and we'll share it, and then you guys can just duplicate it and copy it from there. All right, so if we go into this, and then settings in here. So we have, if any incoming phone call is missed, then make a webhook request. So we need to get this webhook from high level. So over here in our account, so you will need to use a premium trigger for this. I'll bring this screen over here so I don't have to keep chopping. So you'll need to create a premium trigger. Okay, so inbound webhook, you'll need to, once you create that, it will create the webhook for you here. And then you need to do a phone call. So you need to get this set up and then make a call to the phone. If you use webhooks before, because you've got to fire it the first time. So again, all this is in here. So if I just go through, I'll just explain in the doc here. So once you post it in, and then you put it into the setup as we go through, and then you have to make a call and fetch a sample request. So pop that in, post, application JSON, you don't need that. This is the info, the call that you need for the webhook. Very important point with this, right? This must be put in exactly as it is here, okay? And what we've done in the doc here, so it's this bit in the SOP, copy and paste that exactly, okay? Because if you have an extra space or a missing space, it will cause an error on the webhook. Because I even made this mistake when the team put it together the first time, we didn't have this in here written like that. When I went through to set up for the first time, I went through this SOP to test it. And because it was like this in the SOP in the image, I typed it and did it exactly like this. And I did a return here because it looked to me that this was returned. Okay, but all it's actually doing is because it's in the box, it's wrapping it. And because I had a return, I couldn't get the webhook to fire. Okay, so that was something when we went through the test, like, okay, needs to be copied exactly. So copy this information exactly as it is here, because I had an extra return basically like that, which caused my webhook to fail. Okay. So we need to set that up. And then once we've done that, we will be able to call the webhook and get it to fire basically. And once we've got that to fire, we have to create a contact. So phone and full name. So you pop in these fields here, which will be from the inbound webhook triggers. So they'll be created in there, which you'll get after you've done the first call on it. You can do normal stuff. You can assign it to a user. I haven't got anyone in here to assign it to. You can pop in a note. So we generally tend to, as best practice in any workflows that we build, we'll generally have a note in there that will just get put next to the client whenever they go through a workflow. So, there's a missed call, they've got a calendar appointment booked to them, they were added to a DBR, whatever it might be. We just generally try and put that in as best practice into our workflows. So what we've got here, we have a wait for 30 seconds. Okay, now you can play with that or adjust it. This, I think, all comes down to how do you want to do this or make this look like it works. Because, if you've called someone, they didn't answer, they may text you back immediately because they might have that preset. It pops up and you can send them a message. You might want it to wait for a few seconds. So we've got a delay on here for 30 seconds, just because of the message that we've got going out to them. And we'll send them this missed call text back. Says, hey, sorry I missed your call. Not able to talk at the moment, but I can text. How can I help? And then if you've assigned a user, it will have the username and the location. Obviously, you can adjust this to whatever you want it to be. Again, if you had a client's phone and there was the trigger for this, and you were sending this from a separate phone, like a myCRMSIM phone, like separately for a VA or something like that, you could have this message here saying, hey, sorry, Jason just messaged me. You tried to call him. He's not able to take your call at the moment. It's Tracy. I'm his assistant or booking assistant or whatever it might be. He asked me to text you to see if I can help. Obviously, that's a long text. Don't write that. But do you guys get the point and see the opportunities that you have here to kind of mix and match with different numbers and put that in place for your clients? Does that make sense? Sorry, I'm used to talking so much. I like some feedback.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah. And the opportunities, are huge.
Yeah, I really think so. I think so. It's massive. So that's the setup for that. And then what we've done with this as well, I'm just going to go, I'll just bring up another automation here. Guys, I thought I had this other screen open, but I didn't. So what we have done, we've just set up like a demo bot in here. Okay, so we've just set up this bot for the demo account that we showed last week for Australian baby hands. So we're going to do a test. We will ring this number in a second, and you'll see that the first message will go out, I'll reply, and then the bot will take over and we'll book that person in, well, we'll book me into an appointment all through the automation. Okay, so using the missed call text back and using the myCRM bot as well. Now, where we had a challenge yesterday, so Carlos, just keep an eye on this if you can, because we were doing so much testing with, like, I'm just using my phone number just to text back to it. High level was doing some weird thing, and each time, because we were deleting my contact out, and then each time we deleted out my contact, and then it got recreated from the missed call text back, because the workflow will recreate me in high level. It was actually putting in a stop bot tag every time on my contact for no reason. Seems like it's like caching in high level somewhere, because my contact's being put in and deleted, put in and deleted, put in and deleted. So hopefully that doesn't happen again today, but that happened to us, and we spent ages yesterday when we were playing around and testing this in preparation for today, and we spent more time doing that than we did with the prompting. So we didn't set up a really detailed prompt for the bot. We used the sample prompt builder that we went through last week in our other training, and we just made a couple of tweaks to it. So we haven't had a massive amount of time to actually go through and test all of that. So let me bring this over here. Okay. So what we'll do, you can see here in our demo account at the moment. So this is just a couple of numbers in here. I'm not in here right now. And what I'm going to do is, let me grab the phone here. Okay, so this one here is our demo phone. And I am going to ring this phone. And we'll put this on speaker, so hopefully people can hear this. I don't know. Hi, this is the myCRMSIM demo phone. Please leave a message after. Okay. So not going to leave any message. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. It's just popped up on the phone. It just said that there was a missed call on the phone. Now, this can take a few seconds, guys. So if you've got a good joke or an anecdote or anything to fill in a few seconds, feel free. What we'll do is just look back on here. If we look at the activity on this, okay, so trigger ran 10:02 a.m. Incoming phone call missed, so that trigger has run. Now, if we look at the execution logs on here, okay, so that's run, so that went through, send SMS, so it's waiting, and what we actually do as well, so just to, I should have explained this. We do a wait on the end of our missed call text back here. So we wait for 60 minutes, okay? So we want to hold a person if they've done a call and not left a message. We don't want them to go through this multiple times, right? Because they could ring, not leave a message, hang up, ring again, not leave a message, hang up, ring again, not leave a message. So they might just be hammering to try and get hold of someone. If you don't have this wait at the end here, that person could just cycle through this workflow and they would get the missed call text back again and again and again. If you have a 60-minute wait, then they're not going to get the missed call text back because they're already in the workflow. So if I ring this again, you guys know how obviously workflows operate. If you're already in the workflow, then it won't push you back in there. Okay. So that's a pretty important thing to add on to the end. Now, if we look in here in lead talk, let's see, we should see, oh, it's already come through actually on my phone. All right, so Gary has been created. Okay, that message has gone out. Sorry, I missed your call. Now, talk the moment context. How can I help? My CRM demo. Okay, so it's just coming through like this because it's our demo account. We just got the location name, so it's just grabbing that. Okay, obviously adjust that for everything you guys got. You can see, oh, is that going to come up? I don't know if that will work very well showing, oh, camera's up there. We'll do. So that comes through onto my phone. Now this, because we've set this up for baby hands, which is the demo that we used last week, I'm just going to say, I'd love to find out a bit more about baby sign. Okay. All right. So that just ran through the phone here. You can see that's come into there. Now the bot's going to get to work here. And that will just run through the webhook and reply out. There we go. So, hey, my name's Tina. How can I assist you today? So, like I said, guys, tweak the prompt and stuff on here. But yeah, so Tina, how can I assist today? What specific info are you looking for about baby sign language? What's the best age to start? We'll just do a few questions with Tina because the prompt for this bot is to try and book the person into an appointment. There we go. Best age to start baby sign is typically around 6 to 8 months. You can start as early as birth. Babies usually begin to understand and use signs around 8 to 10 months. Do you have any other questions? Anything you need help with? So this is all pinging from myCRM phone through the myCRM bot to me. Okay, so I don't know why I'm looking down here. The camera's up here. Sorry, you guys are down on the screen down there. So that's our myCRM demo phone. This is my personal iPhone. So I'm having this conversation with myself. Do you have any questions? What would I like to ask? Do you have a best selling product? So it should ask me if it wants to book in a demo, I would think, in a question or two. There we go. So our best-selling product is Australian Baby Hands book, provides simple step-by-step guide. Would you like to know more about it, or perhaps book an appointment for a class? Yep. So how can I do a class? So bear in mind, guys, we did this to set up the prompt. This was the basic prompt builder that we used in myCRM bot. We haven't fine-tuned this at all. We've just given it the basics and said, hey, book these people into an appointment. So this is all the AI just kind of figuring stuff out. We've literally told it that you are Tina and you're an assistant for Baby Hands, and given it the About Us page, info, and the URL for the website. Okay, so how can I do a class? Yep, you book a class, teachers, schedule an appointment, time zone. Just waiting for this timestamp to go on here. There we go. So that's just come through now to me. So Brisbane. Well, this should start offering some times in a second. Great, Gary, to get you set up for a baby sign class. Your preferred date and time. Next week. That one to come through to me. There we go. Afternoon. Let's say global times. Which one works best? I'll just say 2 Monday. Let's see. It should figure that out, that that's the middle one. Okay, there you go. So it's booked me in, view appointment. So if I look in the calendar in here, there you go, 2nd of September, 2 p.m, confirmed. This is just a demo calendar that we put up. So your appointment for Baby Silence Plus been successfully booked for Monday. If you have any further questions, need further assistance, please ask. Perfect. So all fired through Android phone, missed call, text back, myCRM bot, straight to me. Amazing. What do you guys think?
Really good.
Yeah, really good, Gary.
More reason to change to Android.
And I know people are going to say, oh yeah, but our clients, you know, they've got iPhones. We're going to figure something out for iPhones. It looks like it looks more limited. That's the big challenge with iPhones, right? They're way more
Just
locked
wish
down
that
with
the
iOS,
shortcut app on iPhone allow webhook, and that would solve a lot of problem.
What's that, mate? Sorry.
The shortcut app, because at the moment the shortcut app on iPhone doesn't have the trigger, which is missed call.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we just need to add that, and then we'll be able to fire off a webhook and will solve a lot of problems. Because some of the app that my client use, like they design for iPhone, they don't like ServiceMate, design for iPhone.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something else. Like as we play with this, like I say, yeah, we just sort of worked this out in the last week, and it was a fair bit to actually figure out the exact steps and the process for all of this, as I'm sure you guys can appreciate. So we just wanted to get this out as soon as possible because I just see the opportunities are limitless at the end of the day when you can go to a client and say, yeah, we can set up missed call text back on your phone, like your exact phone, you know, if they've got an Android phone. Doesn't even have to be connected to myCRMSIM, nothing. You can just go, yep, we'll log any missed calls and we can fire a message off to your VA. We can log it in your system. We can capture that lead and just grab them in there. Like ideally, have the bot following up with them. Like that's the perfect thing. We provide all of that now. So you've got a bot that can capture everything, follow up with your clients, book them into an appointment, ask them their questions. We can build estimation bots with our thing. You can give them pricing, answer their questions. I mean, yeah, it's pretty mind blowing. So we're going to do everything we can to sort of bring all this information in as easy a way for you guys as possible. Like I say, this will be available after this call. We're going to put this into our support center. We'll put the link to this in the comments underneath this live video. So this will be linked in the live video. So if you're watching this live on our Facebook channel, look in the comments. A link to this in our support center will be listed in there. Guys, just go and have fun. I'm just interested to see what everyone comes back with. Has anyone got some thoughts on what they're going to do with this and what they can do with their clients and what they can do with a bot now and firing webhooks? Has anyone got some ideas that are springing to mind?
I certainly see, and my clients are bricks and mortar clients, but sales of cars and so forth as well. I can certainly see salespeople, someone ringing in, and they're talking to another client. A lot of information being able to send through, and obviously extracting the information from a high level about the bot. So they're looking at a Toyota Camry, for argument's sake, or they've had discussions. It's going to move them along without necessarily the salesperson having to call them back, or when they do call back, they've got the relevant information of saying, okay, yep, we sent you the brochure automatically. What you're looking for, have you got any other questions? Have you made your decision type thing? It can certainly help with their closing of deals, I suppose. As well, rather than pushing them necessarily for an appointment. And I certainly see that as far as the sales, where it is big ticket items, getting a bot involved of when you've missed the call and identifying where they are in the sales process, as a sales tool is where I see it. As well, sorry, that's where I will be moving it, working on it. I suppose there's so many other, as well, like tradies and so forth as well. Well, it becomes, if a plumber is doing a sewage job, the last thing they want to do is answer the phone.
100%, yeah.
But it can push them through and so forth as well, and send it to their office as well, of going, okay, well, yep, let's actually work it that way. And certainly if we can get iPhone, and I'm an iPhone person as well, I won't go to Android as my everyday phone. And that's, Apple's very good at getting you in their ecosystem.
I know, I'm in it. I'm in it. I've got an iPhone, you know, I've got a few dozen Android phones sitting here as well, but like I'm an iPhone user, so I totally get it. But there's still, I don't exactly know what the numbers are, but there's still a good 30-40% of the market that are Android phone users anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know, 3 or 4 out of every 10 clients that you're talking to have got an Android phone anyway, and it's just worth popping that into the conversation, you know, especially, I mean, I see it, and that's who we've predominantly worked with, is trade services. It's worth popping into the conversation. Just go, do you think having a missed call text back, like an automated one with a bot that can have a conversation, would be good off of your existing number if they're using an Android phone? You know, in that conversation you have with them, just say, oh, what's your phone, by the way? You're an iPhone or an Android user? And yeah, we've got iPhone, some kind of option for that, which the guys are going to work on for the rest of this week. Or yeah, it's just a really great conversation piece that you can have with people, and the fact that you can literally set this up remotely. You don't have to get access to their phone. Like, just send them a link to the IFTT app, get them to download it. That will be awesome.
And this is a side question with myCRMSIM. Is the reason that you've gone Android because Apple's security, for want of a better word, is so stringent, what they give access to and what they don't?
Yeah, basically, like, this can all be done on an iPhone. Thanks, Jeremy. See you, mate. This can all be done on an iPhone, but the problem is they're restrictive. And with an Android phone, so what we have to do with myCRMSIM is, obviously you want it to be on all the time. It's got to be listening for messages coming in and listening for messages to be able to send out. So the app runs in the background all the time. And then it's got permission to send messages out, you know, when the phone's in sort of sleep mode, basically. With an iPhone, they limit that a lot. So there's a pretty good chance that with an iPhone, once it's, you know, if the app's not being used and the phone's not active, that they'll just stop any communication in the background. So it just won't keep running. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, could you use, like, just thinking outside the box? I think it's I can see it working with coaches, accountants, and sort of other service providers really well, who would probably tend to use an iPhone. Could it work off something like Gmail, off a chatbot there, and sort of cross talk? Because
so I don't know. I don't know if there's a trigger for Gmail in IFTT. Our chatbot, myCRM bot, does not work with email. It's text only. So it works with SMS, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and GMB for now. So that gets deprecated in a few months, I think it is. But
What
yeah,
about
not with email.
Google Business Profile? Obviously, it still works with.
Yeah, so I think is that the same question? Sorry, Christine, I saw your question there from Nick. Can this be used with a Google business number? I believe so. Again, this all comes down to what's in IFTT in terms of their whatever they've got for a trigger at the end of the day. I think this is a great new tool that we should be unpacking and has been forgotten about.
I think it's going to keep a lot of the coaches and a lot of the professional industry speakers being able to run a lean business for quite a while.
Sorry, what was that?
I think especially like the coaches and the guys that go around conferences talking about theories and ideas and better practice, I think it could definitely keep a nice little business for them where they don't need to hire a lot of people in the back office to
See you, JP.
work on their schedules.
Yeah, like, yeah, just amazing opportunities for different people that, you know, have Android phones anyway. So yeah, so Christine, yeah, good for service people because all they need to be pre-qualified by the bot before they get on the call. Exactly. Like you could even set up, this is the thing, when you've got the bot on the back end of it, capturing that missed call and qualifying them, and they could just check and say, oh yeah, you know, are you in this area? Check by their postcode, all kinds of stuff, you know. So many opportunities around that stuff. So I think next time we will have a conversation, you guys had to play with this, and I'm just so curious to see what else everybody comes up with. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, any other questions or any questions? I haven't even looked at the Facebook Live. Carlos, is there anyone posted anything in there? Actually, I forgot to mention that at the start. Was there any other questions that we had? A few people have had to drop off now. We're getting to the end of our time. We've got another few minutes. If anybody has anything else or any other questions or anything they want to ask about the myCRM bot, we've got a few minutes while we're here. So,
With myCRMSIM, how are you going as far as calls and that development, Gary?
slower than we'd like, you know, all these things.
I can't. It's been done yesterday, Gary.
I know, mate. How bad are we? I apologise profusely. It's like rubbish, isn't it? It's not acceptable, really, is it, mate? Look, we have like a sort of MVP that we've tested, but it's not really. What's the right word? It sort of works, but it's not very smooth, I guess, in terms of an operational type of way of doing things. So we're exploring ideas around the best way because there's a few things to do it, Peter. Obviously, like there's the technical thing, right? So there's no call API in high level, right? So you can't just link into high level. It's not there. So we've got to find a separate way of.
There's a reason that they've done that too, Gary.
Sorry, there is a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're taking away from high levels income.
Yeah, no. I don't think they like us very much. I don't know. They definitely won't like us when we say this to people. Go, yeah, you don't even need a Twilio number to do missed call text back for your clients with Android phones now. Like, that's yeah. I don't think it's really going to matter. They got thousands and thousands of accounts, or you know, plenty. We'll get a few people to switch over, and look, at the end of the day, I think it's better for everyone. You know, if people can do better things with high level, they can do more with high level, and if they use our missed call text back, you need a premium trigger anyway. So, you know, they make a penny for every premium trigger webhook call. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, all right? I don't think they'll mind too much.
There'll be a webhook on the call as well, so they'll be making some money as well.
Exactly, that's what I was saying too in that workflow. The premium webhook is 1 cent for every one of those that gets fired. So that's fine for high level. I think they should endorse this really. Like when we'll announce this in the group after this call. So I wanted to keep it for the group first and let you guys all know. We'll see what they say. We'll post it in the group and shoot a little loon for people and just let them know, because I think this is just too cool, and I think people should know about it anyway, whether they use our system or not. I just think the opportunity for people to understand that this is an option is, yeah, it's too cool, basically. But yeah, so sorry, back to the calls, Peter. So we have got some other avenues that we are exploring, which involve some other hardware, and yeah, look, there's things going on, but we've got obviously we've been working on sort of getting myCRM bot. Then we had this, which sort of came up a few weeks ago, and we're like, okay, we need to figure this out. We've got the multi-sim coming out, which hopefully by Friday the guys will have an MVP for me on multi-sim for me to start testing. I was on with the devs last night, and again, all our stuff, I think you guys have seen it, we try to make it so that it's as easy as possible, and like our flows work really well. So technically there's so much going on in the background, but we try to make it so that it's really easy on the front end, okay, which has come through with everything that we're doing so far. So adding the multi-sim in, I mean, technically it's challenging, right? But also technically to make it smooth and easy for everyone to add them and manage them is an important aspect to that, to know where, if you've got extra SIMs on accounts, what accounts have you got them added to, if you need to move a SIM from one account to another account, or remove or just delete one because the person's not using it anymore. Like, there's management involved, all that stuff. So that's really taken us a good bit of thought around that, and we sort of did, we had like an internal MVP that we were doing on internal servers, and then we looked at it last night and then actually pulled it apart, and the guys are redoing it for Thursday, because our initial thoughts and how we thought it should work, when we actually ran through it and thought through the logic of getting an extra SIM, adding it to an account, but then the management of those SIMs to know where they are, and potentially deleting or moving them to a different sub account, we realized that we'd actually, I'm not saying we made a mistake, but we hadn't thought as much about the management of the SIMs after the getting and the adding to a sub account as we thought. And we went through the logic yesterday and found it a little bit confusing internally. So we pulled it apart, and we're redoing that. So we'll have another version of that on Thursday for us to test, but hopefully technically it will all be working for us to run a physical MVP test internally for everything this week is the plan. But then we're all in, well, not we're all, but going to be down in Sydney next week for Agency Ignites. Is anyone coming to that? I know actually JP, who's dropped off. Oh no, actually no, I don't think he's coming. Is anyone coming to Agency Ignite? Who's left on here? Does anyone know what it is?
I won't make it this time. I almost made a trip over for it. I had my father sick in Canberra, but no, alas, I'll stay this side of Tasman, so maybe next year.
Okay, well, sorry to hear that. But yeah, we'll be there. We've got a little booth, so people, if you want to, I don't know if anyone's watching this on the live anyway, I'll pop a link actually underneath this for Agency Ignite. So grab a ticket, come along. That's an event in Sydney next week, being run by Growthable. I know that Sean, Chase, they're doing a live call, like a live Zoom in. There's some other sponsors, there's events, there's speakers, there's talking about growth for your agency. Sarah Cordner from TechMates is emceeing it. Get to meet us. Carlos will be there in situ on Zoom somewhere. We'll have him. You can talk to Carlos maybe about myCRM bot. We'll have a chat in the background. We'll pop you on a iPad or something, Carlos, so you can be involved, mate, all the way from Costa Rica. But yeah, that's next week happening there. So yeah, we've got a few things going on. So the calls will come, Peter, but we'll get there.
Absolutely, and like, you're growing at a rapid rate of night. Congratulations on hitting 600. Imagine to be almost 700 now.
Yeah, we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. It's sleepless nights. Like,
And there's so many other ideas that as come in as you go, oh, okay, well, we can do this and do this and do this, which is, and then you've got high level that comes out with a new feature as well. You go, oh, we can add that in as well.
oh yeah, we've got WhatsApp that we're adding as well. Actually, I've forgotten about that. So we're adding WhatsApp. That's being worked on right now. So you'll be able to default between SMS or WhatsApp and pick a preferential channel for that. So that's great for all the countries that don't use SMS so much. They can use WhatsApp and then have SMS as the backup for anyone who's not got a WhatsApp number.
Mm. What's New Zealand like with WhatsApp, Katrina?
Christine,
Sorry.
that's right.
I reckon the uptake isn't that high here in New Zealand. Not everyone uses it. I'd say maybe even less than in Australia, but probably about the same, to be honest.
Okay. So it is mainly phone and text.
Yeah, like when it drops in, when Gary's team drops it in, I probably might set it up, and I probably will mainly only like WhatsApp my VAs. I probably won't bother doing much with it with clients, and just keep to texting, which is working well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different country. I know UK is big on WhatsApp. A lot of Asian countries, South America, because the cost of SMS is pretty high. They've all kind of seem to have moved away to WhatsApp.
Yeah. Well, and you hit the nail on the head in Australia, Gary. Oh, the Twilio fees just kill the viability for businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you for another great session, Gary. I'm going to pop off now.
No problem. Yeah, we'll wrap up. We're a couple minutes past now anyway, so that's all good. But we'll wrap up. If you guys see, I'm going to shoot something in the high level forum, just a little thing. Give us a big thumbs up. Let's make some noise about this and just let people know, because I'm just going to share this anyway, whether people are using myCRMSIM or not. We're just going to share this as, hey guys, this is something we've just found out. Massive opportunity for the high level community. So let's just punch it out there.